Happy Wednesday, everybody, and welcome to the week 16, So, everybody, so happy Wednesday. Welcome to the week 16 Eagles versus Cowboys preview. Week 16 Eagles Cowboys preview with Nikki Stees. So, if you're new to the Hardcore Sports Network, make sure you subscribe and drop a like on this stream right here. So, let's get into it. Week 16. Christmas Eve, Philadelphia Eagles versus Dallas Cowboys in the afternoon over at AT&T Stadium. And as of right now, though, we know the main storyline going into this one is, will Jalen Hurts play or not? And so, matter of fact, on my community page, there is a poll question. And on my Twitter, too, I share the same poll question. Should Jalen Hurts play on Christmas Eve? And I can see already we got Further AM came in. What's good, man? Go Birds. And he put the Go Birds with the explanation point. So thank you to Further for coming in. And I'm sure as we go along, we'll have a few more pop in here too. Leave a comment as well. But as of right now, we know the main storyline into this one is, will Jalen Hurts play? And we know he has that shoulder injury. I shared it on my channel. Nick Sirianni said that they wouldn't put it past Jalen Hurts to possibly try and play. And knowing his attitude, there is a chance that could happen. I did that in a short. That was a response to the Philly Talk podcast, or reaction to them uploading their short, asking whether or not Jalen Hurts should play or whether or not he will play. And as of right now, because of Hurts' injury for this 425 Christmas Eve matchup, the point spread now is at Cowboys -6. That is on Fox Sports right now, on the Fox Sports website. Reported that right there. So, and also we know, that's the one. Speaking of injuries, another key headline going into this matchup is that Dallas Goedert, that's right, folks, Dallas Goedert will be back, okay? So Dallas Goedert will be back, and he will be playing for us. So that's awesome. So that's great news right there. That is some excellent news right there. Glad to hear that. So we'll ultimately have to see, how it goes right there. It's going to obviously, now this is an important game right here. You're talking the Philadelphia Eagles and you're talking the Dallas Cowboys now. You know the main rivalry here for the Philadelphia Eagles against those darn Cowboys. And you know there's always the back and forth going on right here between the Eagles fan base and the Cowboys fan base. And one thing I'll tell you, man, one thing I cannot stand, I emphasize, I cannot stand, is the way Cowboys fans always want to ramble on about the past. They want to talk about things that did happen years ago. They don't want to talk about the present. They don't want to talk about the fact that the Eagles gotten the better of them recently. You know, with this Eagles-Cowboys rivalry, it's significant because these are two top teams in the NFC East. And you know these two teams, the Eagles and Cowboys, man, you know there's always the back and forth, the constant back and forth going on between these two teams. You know, the fan bases, you see it all over social media. Eagles and Cowboys fans always talking smack to each other about who's the better team. You know, how our team's better than your team. Our team did this, your team this. We always like to clown each other when something goes bad. You know, Eagles fans, we always laughing at the Cowboys when something goes wrong, like we did when they lost to the Jaguars in overtime on Sunday. Cowboys fans always waiting us for the fall on our faces so they can laugh at us. You know, it's that ongoing back and forth right here. So that's what makes this such a big rivalry. We don't need to go through the history of it. If you're a fan of either team, you guys know it. You guys know what this rivalry is. But now, hey, it's significant here because, you know, it's the Eagles win. They clinch home field advantage against their main rival at their home stadium. And nothing would spell a more satisfying way than to beat the Dallas Cowboys at their home stadium, AT&T Stadium, clinch that playoff spot in front of their fan base. Nothing would be more satisfying than that. Matter of fact, we did do something similar to that on Christmas Day 2006 with Jeff Garcia as our starting quarterback. We whooped on the Cowboys on Christmas Day, Monday night in 2006. If you guys remember, we clinched the NFC East with that. We bumped our record up to 9-6. You know, if you guys remember that one. But that was going against the Tony Romo T.O. led Cowboys, you know, when Jeff Garcia was filling in for McNabb. So we've gotten the better up on the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium right in the holiday season. We did it Christmas Day in 06, and we can clinch home field advantage with a win. That's right. We can clinch home field advantage with a win against the Cowboys. I mean, we're going into this 13-1, Cowboys 10-4, so we can clinch home field advantage with a win there. So that could be awesome. But hey, we got to get it done, man. We got to get it done. We can talk about how awesome it would be, and it will be awesome if we pull it off. But key is, got to pull it off. We got to pull it off and get that W against the Cowboys. And now, speaking of game, though, but we're going to go through the injury reports a little bit for both teams here. So, obviously, Hurts is doubtful for Saturday. It's looking like we're headed to Gardner Minshew, but at the moment, ESPN has Gardner Minshew listed as questionable at the moment. You got Zach Pascal's questionable, Tyree Jackson's questionable, but Dallas Goedert is back. On the defensive side of the ball, you got Robert Quinn is on IR, CJ Gardner-Johnson IR, Kayvon Wallace questionable. So that's us with injuries. But the Cowboys, they have several key players that are questionable right there. So I want to read it off for you guys. So for the Dallas Cowboys, some of their players, hold on a second. You know what I'm actually going to do? I'm actually going to share it with you guys. Hold on a second. So let's take a look. Dallas Cowboys. Right there. So some of their players right here that are questionable. So you have Noah Brown's questionable. You got Jake Ferguson, second string tight end, questionable. And then you got the backup center and backup right guard. Well, Matt Farnock is questionable, but it's IR, excuse me. But let's take a look at the defense. DeMarcus Lawrence, questionable. Dorian Armstrong, questionable. Micah Parsons, questionable. DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons, questionable. The two key players on that Cowboys defense, along Trayvon Diggs, are both questionable. And you got J-Ron Curse, the strong safety, starting strong safety, is questionable as of now. So there were several key injuries right there for that Dallas Cowboys. That's right, folks. Several key injuries right there. Several players questionable. So what that means? So that means they could also be missing some pieces too on the defensive side of the ball alongside us. So could give us an advantage come game time right here. We'll have to see though. And we'll tell. But so I don't have the Eagles cup today, but I'll be drinking water out of this. Okay, so right, you see the injury report right there. There's several key players in the Cowboys questionable. If they're missing Lawrence and Parsons, that could give our offense some openings, especially with that excellent offensive line. If we do decide to run the ball more, we could use it much more effectively here. You know, we got Dallas Goedert back. Now, he has missed some time, so there's no guarantee that he's going to come in and play his best here. But he is practicing, though, and I'm sure, you know, he's savoring this game right here. So he knows this is an important game for the team. I know he wants to be there at his best, but we'll have to see if he ultimately does. We still got, you know, Smitty, A.J. Brown, Watkins is going to be in there. So the Cowboys missed some key pieces on defense. That can make it a little bit easier for our offense to cook on Christmas Eve, so to say. You know what I'm saying? That could very well be the case. But But ultimately, that is going to be one of our keys to victory right there, is make sure. We got to make sure those guys right there are on point, doing their best they can to get you. And that's one of the keys to victory right there. And we know the Cowboys, we know they're going to come into this game prepared, regardless of whether Jalen Hurts tries to play or not, or the Gardner Minshew in there. You know that the Cowboys are going to come in there prepared to bring their best. They want to stop us and they want to play spoiler. They certainly don't want the Philadelphia Eagles coming to their home stadium winning against them Christmas Eve and getting home field advantage in the playoffs. It's bad enough they've already dropped a couple straight. They're off an embarrassing loss to the Jaguars. So the Cowboys want to wipe that bitter taste out of their mouth by turning around and picking up a win against the top team in the NFC. So, yeah, I guess so. I'm certainly wouldn't not expect anything less than the best from the Dallas Cowboys in this matchup. But hey, you know what? With Dak Prescott, you know, he's not looking like a superstar now, is he? Matter of fact, there was a poll question on Twitter recently that asked, who would you see doing better? With some lines, would you see Jalen Hurts on the Cowboys doing better or Dak on the Eagles doing better? And most people say they'd see Jalen Hurts on the Cowboys doing better if the two teams swapped QB. So Dak's not exactly looking that hot right now, is he? Right, so that means momentum's a little bit on the downside as far as the QBs go. But remember, though, the Cowboys have that 1-2 punch at combo. You got Zeke, Tony Pollard there at running back. Those two are there, and the Cowboys have a good O-line themselves, so they can definitely do something running the ball against us. So, obviously, one of the keys to victory for this Eagles team is we got to, I emphasize again, we have to stop the run. I repeat, we're going to have to stop the run in this matchup against the Dallas Cowboys right here. So please, that is something we're going to definitely have to do right here. So right now, we're going to officially switch helms into the keys to victory. And like I said, we got to be able to obviously stop the run because Zeke and Tony Pollard, they're the main pieces for this Cowboys offense right there. Give you a case in point. Remember Thanksgiving when the Giants played the Cowboys? Yes, I did live play-by-play / reaction to that on Thanksgiving. When clearly, I emphasize again, clearly, the Cowboys' run game was the piece that helped them get over the hump that day because Dak wasn't looking too good that day. So the Cowboys switched helms, went to the run game, and had the run game be its main focal point that helped them get through with the W. So obviously, look, we know they're going to try to rely on the run, so we got to be prepared. We got to stop and have Jordan Davis ready. Now, I know we can do it, though. You saw the Eagles. Derrick Henry, shut him down. Jonathan Taylor, shut him down. Okay, we can definitely do this right here against the run. This defense has the ability to do it. And I truly believe they're going to be prepared to do so because they know what they're getting into. They know who they're dealing with here. So they'll be prepared to do so. That's one key to victory right there. Another key is we got to be able to run the ball too, okay? We got to try to run the ball more. Whether you have Hurts or Minshew playing, we got to be prepared to run the ball. We got to try to run against them. We have a Miles Sanders who's over 1,000 yards rushing for the first time in his career. You have the Eagles have an excellent offensive line. We have the pieces here to get this done. So we should, beyond question and doubt, we should do it here. No ifs, ands, or buts right there. So that's one key right there. That's another key right there. We got to be able to stop the run. We got to be able to run the ball. Another key is we got to play disciplined, obviously. We can't come into this game underprepared, which I know they're not going to do that. We got to stay away from stupid penalties, and we can't got to do, to make the right play calls and do this effectively right there. So that's another key piece to victory here in this one. Got to play some disciplined football against this team, man. We really do. And another key right here is we got to take chances testing Trayvon Diggs in the passing game. Because Trayvon Diggs, he's one of those players, you either get Trayvon Diggs on his A game, shutting them down, shutting teams down, or you get Trayvon Diggs, on his off game, giving up plays, getting burnt. Hey, MK, what is up? Thank you for coming in. So shout out to Mitch Kofsky later tonight. I'm going to be on Pick and Roll podcast, 5 p.m. with him and NYG Jeff. And then at 7, me and Mitch are going to do the 76ers Pistons game. So shout out to Mitch for coming on in. So I'll see you later. If you want to stick around and continue the chat, you're more than welcome to as well. I mean, you're networking and do whatever you want with it. But as I was saying, yeah, we got to be able to test Trayvon Diggs in the passing game because he's one of those guys that he can either be on his game and shut dudes down, or he can get burnt. And so we got to at least be able to willing to test him and take the chance on burning him with A.J. Brown. Or maybe if Smitty ends up going against Trayvon a couple times, we could have Smitty burn him too. So that's something we got to be able to do right there. From further, do you think Dallas Goedert will be fully back for this game? That's a great question because we're not sure. I mean, I think he's going to want to be back at full strength, but how will that actually play out when he steps back on the field? Will he truly actually be there? That's an excellent question. I hope he is, but I have my doubts on whether he'll be fully back ready or not. So I'm still wouldn't be surprised if he only gets like 3 receptions on 5 targets the entire game. And then further's got another question. Will Jalen Hurts start or Minshew? I'm thinking you should maybe just start Minshew for this one. But however, knowing Jalen Hurts, he's going to want to play. He's probably going to try to tough it out. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen Hurts does actually start. Even if I think you can just have Minshew start maybe this game. And hell, if we win this game, we have home field advantage. We can just start Minshew the rest of the season, bring Hurts back for the playoffs if that ends up working out that way. But I will not be surprised if Jalen Hurts does actually get the start. So even though I think it might be smarter maybe to start Minshew, don't be surprised if we see Jalen Hurts get in there. So that's my answer to your second question further. So yeah, and as I was saying, so where's that? Keys to victory went over. Got to be able to run the ball effectively, stop the run, test Trayvon Diggs. Another key to victory is have a QB set. I think this is going to be another one, I think. We should have a QB set and have a game plan to work with them, okay? Make sure you have an answer ahead of time on who you're going to play, either Hurts or Minshew, and have a game plan set for how you're going to, for your play calling and how you're going to approach with a run fake, heavy run or heavy pass, whatever the case may be. Make sure we have a plan set at game time. If we have a plan A and a plan B, because then, okay, have 2 plans ready. Have a plan B as a backup plan if you need to, but we definitely got to have a plan set offensively by game time. So that's pretty self-explanatory right there. It's obviously a lot more complicated than I made it sound, but it is something we got to do right here. Of course, another key, obviously, play disciplined football. Avoid the stupid, unnecessary penalties. Come in prepared. And those are my main keys to victory right there for this one. If you guys have any further keys to victory you want to add to it, or any additional keys to victory, or any points you want to bring up, feel free to do so in the chat. You can do it. Exactly. So those are my keys to victory right there. So again, we're winding down a little bit. So I'm going to get into the last part of it. Final score prediction. This final score prediction, this is going to be a tough one right here. So, I mean, if you guys are in here, you want to give your score predictions in the chat, you're more than welcome to as well. Oh, but this is a tough one right here. So, score predictions. I'm going to go I'm going to go 30-27. Birds win in OT. That's going to be my score prediction. Good chance I'm going to jinx that score prediction, but that's what I'm going with right there. So we'll see, which I most likely will jinx. We'll see how badly I jinx that score prediction. We'll see if that's the correct team or not later. So that's going to be my final score prediction. If you guys want to come in here, give yours, or laugh at my prediction, you're more than welcome to. As further says, really depends on with Hurts or Minshew. And yes, before I continue reading that comment, I'm going to say that's exactly why I was stopping and thinking about it before I said it, because that makes a huge difference. But I'm continuing with your comment. If it is Minshew, I heavily believe from last year, Goddard needs full day. Minshew throws to Goddard a lot, 2 TDs last year. Again, Jets game. Right, yeah, obviously, we know there's some chemistry there between those two from the Jets game last year. However, we're also talking about the New York Jets of last year, who are still the Jets we've come to know of the past decade. And the Jets of this year are better than last year. And then he gives it 27-21. Is that Eagles or is that Cowboys, 27-21? I'm assuming Eagles, but just like some clarification. Mm-hmm. So as you say, Las Vegas gambling spread, saying Cowboys -5.5. I also saw 6-2. Eagles will find a way to win, and then he leaves in the comment to clarify he meant 27-21 Eagles. So yes, we both have the Eagles winning this game. Obviously, we both still have our faith in the Eagles. I know a lot of the fans in this base still have their faith in the Eagles that they'll come through and get the W, but ultimately, we will have to see what happens. I mean, we can do all the trash talking back and forth with us and the Cowboys fans. We go back and forth with them. They go back and forth with us. We laugh at their failures. They laugh at our failures. We brag about our success in the 21st century. They brag about their success in the 20th century. We go back and forth with that. But you know what? Saturday, Christmas Eve, 4:25 Eastern Standard Time. Once they kick it off, all that talking don't matter. Once the game's played, it's not going to matter. As the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. And what happens on the field between these two teams will speak louder than anything. I emphasize again, anything that we say. So we will ultimately have to see what happens. It feels like it. I'm not exactly sure, but it might be. There's a good chance that it is. Yes, as I was saying, though, we will ultimately see what happens on Christmas Eve. And I will be back to talk about it Christmas Day during the evening. So I set that stream to be during the evening. Okay, so this is the first game of the year. That's the case. Yes, so, yep. All the talking, all the odds, it can be whatever it wants to be. It ain't going to matter once the game's over what the odds were going into. The only thing that's going to matter is the end result. So, hey, we'll see what happens. I'll be back to talk about Christmas Day later in the day. I decided to do it later in the day because most people are going to be with their families throughout the day. Maybe some people will be looking around on YouTube later in the night. So that's why I scheduled that stream for nighttime. So I'll do my recap Sunday night. So I'll share it with you guys. For those of you on the Hardcore Sports Network group chat, I'll share it with you in advance there. So you guys can come in. Like I said, I set it closer to the end of the night so you guys can spend Christmas with your families. So I feel it would work out best for all parties involved. So really, that's all I got to say for this one. So for everyone that came in, thank you for coming in. Further I am, thank you for engaging in the chat, making this thing more fun. And to everyone else that came in, thanks for coming in. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day. You can catch me on the Hardcore Sports Network 5 p.m. Pick and Roll podcast where we talk about NBA with Mitch and NYG Jeff. Then me and Mitch will be doing the 76ers game 7 p.m. So you can catch me there later tonight. All right. Yep. It was fun. Thanks for coming in. If I don't get to chat with you again through the rest of the night, have a great day further. Everyone else have a wonderful day. It is Nicky Stees signing off for now. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I'll see you guys next time.